Hi, my name is Talia. Welcome to Talia Nerds Out. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it all the way through this video in the same location or if I will have to stop and pick up elsewhere. I'm kind of cutting it close for my family coming home from church. So usually I don't record on this location when everyone is awake unless I'm alone in the house because it's really inconvenient for other people because it's the dining room and it's in a public location. It's in where everyone else can access. So usually I only record in this location at night, so if they arrive in the middle of my recording this video, I will have to either record over again or finish up in a different location. Anyway, this is somewhat a fictional focused video, even though the only truly fictional book that I am talking about is Northanger Abbey. I'm enjoying annotating this. I have a lot of commentary that I'm making about things like just foreshadowing of different aspects of what's to come in character interactions. Now, I'm not actually highlighting this book. I'm using highlighter tape, and I'm using a bunch of different see-through stickies to write these notes. I'm really enjoying it. It's making me engage with the book in a way that I have not before and to notice more things about characters and their interactions as I'm reading. So I look forward to going more into detail with my observations once I finish the book. But I am, not quite halfway through. Out there. But I have a bunch of these little notes that I really look forward to covering. This is an example of some of the ways that my pages look. Now this one, I really enjoyed this. I wanted to highlight this. So rather than writing on the clear sticky notes, I just put a bunch on there almost as decorative effect, but also to bring attention to this particular paragraph. This is actually a couple of paragraphs. It's a dialogue. So, yeah, I'm having fun with it. It's a mixture of decorating and commentary. So once I get to the point of finishing this book, I will run through my commentary in a little bit more detail. But the annotation is making me experience this book in a whole new way, and I'm really enjoying that. Talking about annotating something Jane Austen related. So this is the one it's about a fictional book, but it is a scholarly look at the fiction, at Jane Austen's particular style, but engaging with it when it comes to the characters. I have notes, little tabs in both the footnotes and in the actual reading. This one's slower going because it is very scholarly. I am constantly using my reference books with this because this guy uses as big of words he can think of for things that he could say very simply in other words, I believe. So I am looking up things a lot. When I notice a word that I am not normally familiar with, I do try to write the definition in the margins. I'm trying now to, if I see a word again, to make a note, see this page for definition. So I'm not writing the same definition over and over again. But this is really cool. I just finished the section talking about play, about how you see character development and plot development in things like the card games, in things like there's a play called Lover's Vow that's covered in Mansfield Park. I'm not going to go too much into that. I suggest reading Mansfield Park to know what I'm talking about. People playing music and plot and character development that can occur in that. The other thing where there's a lot of conversation, plot, character development is in dancing. So this is very interesting in how he discusses how Austen writes these things to cover character development, to make social commentary. And reading this has made me think more when I'm reading Northanger Abbey. So I'm looking forward to, as make my way through this book, seeing how this expands my consciousness when I'm reading and rereading these books by Austen. So this is a very good book, even if it is a bit of a dense read. It is good because it makes you think about what you're reading. And just about writing in general, about how an author can engage with simple conversations, simple activities, but do a lot with that. And using Austen's work as an example of that and her characters. So this is very interesting, even if you aren't necessarily an Austen person. Now, I don't recommend reading this if you've never read Austen, because I think there's a little bit in the way of spoilers in here, but it's very good if you are interested in writing, developing characters, how an author can use different ways of writing to subtly say things without banging someone over the head. And the final book that I want to show, again, this is not a true fiction book in and of itself. I actually didn't pick this one up. This was a gift. It was on Saturday. My sister came in with my dad, knocked on the door. I was hiding in the dark of my room because, that's where I feel best most of the time during the day. She picked up for me this mug, the different moods, expressions of Darth Vader: sleepy, cheerful, frustrated, excited, angry, happy, sad, confused, and it's all the same, which is awesome. So that was a cool thing that she got me. And more book related is this one. So there's this little secondhand place down the hill where if my dad and sister go somewhere, he'll sometimes take her there as a treat before they come back home. And she ended up picking up this for me. It's called The Cape Crusade, and it covers Batman and the rise of nerd culture. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Just flipping through, I saw something about Chuck Dixon in here, how he was a huge fan as a kid, and then he eventually came to write Batman. And I've read his work. Actually, I first read his work when he was writing Nightwing. And I read quite a bit of his run with Nightwing. I want to say it was Night of Bloodhaven. That was the first one that I read of his. He had quite a run on Nightwing. So it's really cool that was a little bit tidbit. It covers the 60s show. I'm just looking forward to seeing what they have to say about just the development of Batman fandom, and honestly probably how it affected character growth, because you see different things where it was more goofy kind of at the beginning, even though there would be aspects of seriousness. I know at the beginning Batman even used a gun when they first started, but then the character developed that backstory where he actually has a big problem with guns. I know that in Bruce Wayne Fugitive, there was another section to that. Bruce Wayne something else, but Bruce Wayne Fugitive, and then the other part of it, he was trying to overcome his issue with guns by having one around and just sort of trying to, exposure therapy. Now, I know in some books that I've read, I can't remember which one it was. It wasn't Hush. I can't remember which one it was that I read, where Dick Nightwing, he was a cop in Bloodhaven for a while, and he came by, did a drop off of a villain at the Gotham jail, and Bruce kind of crabs at him for having his gun with him in the cave because Bruce can't stand guns. So that development of character, I'm sure they're going to cover that, as well as how you go from the 60s really goofiness to the changes that came with Batman Year One, really the effect that came with I don't know why I can't bring his name to my brain. He wrote for Daredevil. He did Daredevil. Let's see, Batman Year One. He also did Dark Knight Strikes. Again, I'm sorry, year one was actually Jeff. No, I'm sorry, Jeff Loeb did Long Halloween. I guess he did do Batman year one. Hush. Oh gosh, I'm thinking about. Oh, I thought Batman year one was something else, but I guess it was Jeff Loeb, who I love Jeff Loeb's work. But I'm just trying to find the author that I'm thinking of because he, I want to say, had a great influence um, on the changes in the Batman character and him becoming even darker. Frank Miller's the one I'm trying to think of. I didn't find him in here, but Frank Miller's influence was big, I think, in the darkening of the Batman character. Now, I'm not sure how far this goes. Okay, looks like 2005 to 2012. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It even covers the Damien period. Now, Damien's not my favorite addition to the Batman lore. I think it leaves some interesting holes in there. And also, it kind of makes it so they really don't seem to know what to do with Tim, who was Robin after Nightwing. I just feel like Damien's just kind of an awkward addition. I kind of wish, while there are some good storylines with him in it, there was a point where the Bat family just got too big. I kind of would have been happy if they had stuck with Barbara Gordon as Oracle, just retired the Batgirl persona. Now, I wouldn't have minded if they had kept Earth 2 Huntress, but the way she was before the more recent iteration, the way she was back in, I want to say it was like the 80s, that iteration of her, where she had her darkness, but because she grew up with having her parents, she doesn't have the same darkness of a Bruce. So her character was cool. That Huntress from Earth 2. So I wouldn't have minded her character being pulled over because she already knew the characters from Earth 1 because she had made that kind of jump. They had met each other. So I wouldn't have minded seeing her stay a part of the Bat family. And then Dick is Nightwing, Tim is Robin, Bruce, and then, Alfred's Bat family. But yeah, so if you kept it kind of down to that, with, like I said, the adding of the original Earth 2 Huntress, Helena Wayne, that would have been great. I just feel like it just got too big once you had Damien and Spoiler and the Huntress that's Helena Bertinelli. Gosh, it just got to be too big. There's too many people. And I feel like Batman's more effective when he has a smaller group around him that he's close to. It just got too bloated. But yeah, looking forward to what they cover. Looks like they're going to talk about Birds of Prey, probably about the whole thing with, I'm assuming, Killing Joke, which wasn't intended to be anything more than like a what if. So yeah, this is going to be cool because it sounds like it's covering storyline to a certain extent, but it's covering it from a writing and cultural perspective, it looks like. So this is going to be really enjoyable for me to read. I've been informed by my dad, who's also a huge Batman fan, that when I am done reading it, suggestion is to leave it in an easily accessible place for him to be able to read. So this is something that is my book, but not my book, apparently. He's the one who got me into Batman, although at this point, I know I've read certain ones that he hasn't read yet. So I think I have caught up to him in comics read, and I might have even become a little bit more diverse insofar as I've read a fair amount of Nightwing, particularly before New 52. I'm not a huge fan of the New 52 Rebirth, all that. I'm kind of an early 2000s. I feel like that was a really good time period for the comics. And the artwork was really good during that time period as well. So yeah, I also, talking about diversifying with comics, I've read not a huge amount, but I've branched into Daredevil. I've read some of Heroes for Hire. So I have branched out a little bit into Marvel as well. So like I said, I have a bit of a wider field to a certain extent. I did read a decent amount of the New 52 Flash when he came out with Barry Allen, because I've always enjoyed Barry's character, even though I'm not a huge fan of the fact that they are kind of like phasing out Wally West to a certain extent in favor of Barry, which I don't enjoy that because I like the friendship of Wally West with Dick Grayson. They grew up together, they were in the Teen Titans together. You have that character history, and you have these younger heroes who came up who now have their place among the older heroes. So Wally coming up and taking Barry's place in the Justice League, I kind of feel like they should have let Barry stay dead because they're sometimes it works better that way. I would have preferred Jason to stay dead, even though good storylines came from that. Just like there are some good storylines that came out of Damien, but sometimes you just need to leave characters dead, like Uncle Ben. What was he used to say? No one stays dead except Uncle Ben. I think it said Uncle Ben, Jason. I think it was Jason. Uncle Ben, Jason, and Bucky. Although I can't remember if Barry was in there. Because they used to have a saying. I can't remember what it was. Now I believe everyone on that list is now alive again except Uncle Ben. Let me see. The saying was, go back. All right. No one stays dead except Bucky, Jason, Todd, and Uncle Ben. That was what the saying was. Now, I think for a while Barry Allen could have been added to that, but both Bucky and Jason Todd are alive. I think the only one who has stayed dead, other than maybe in like some what ifs, is Uncle Ben. But yeah, that was kind of a fun saying that used to be. I think that's really all. This wasn't intended to be a bit of a comic geek out, but there you go. If you made it through that kind of disjointedness, thank you very much. Hope that you enjoyed. I'm going to sign off before my family comes home. You have a really great day, and I will see you for the next video. God bless. Bye.